I'm not telling anybody to settle for somebody that they're not totally in love with or physically attracted to or anything like that. The book is based on a survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch. And so
80% to the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers and divorce lawyers.
What did they say?
And, the thing is, we're too picky about the things that don't matter at all for long-term romantic happiness, but we're not picky enough about the things that actually do matter.
Okay, so break that out for me. What are women? It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple with men. Come on. What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting. But then he did this Austin Powers impression. And I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again.
Okay, here you go.
And
can I make your other point, and then I've got another quick one for you before I lose time.
I was just going to say, Austin Powers guy could be the love of her life. If he does these impressions on the second date, okay, don't go on a third. But maybe he was just nervous. The guys who are bad first daters might be great life partners. You don't know.
Okay, let me make the other argument. You have to have a list, Lori. You have to. You just can't run around dating any Tom, Dick, or Harry. You have to develop a list,
but you have to have the right things on your list. They have to be the right things. The character things, is he kind? Do we have the same life goals? Do we have the same values, the fundamentals? Do we enjoy each other? How do we communicate with each other? Somebody said to me, this woman that I was really interested in wouldn't go out with me because I didn't read the same books that she did. But she's madly in love with this guy who reads the same books, but he doesn't call her when he says he will.
All right.
What's going on, my IBMOR brothers? This is Art coming after you another video. Now, the video that you just saw was a CNN video or podcast or television show from Lori Gobley. She wrote a book about women finding Mr. Good Enough. Now, this wasn't 2 years ago. This wasn't 3 years ago. This wasn't even 5 years ago. This was actually 11 years ago. 11. Keep in mind, this is 2021. This video came out in 2010. And it shows that women's expectations have just gotten worse and worse over the years when it comes to men and finding happiness. It started getting out of control. And with social media, Facebook, Twitter, the inventions of the dating apps, and where you can just swipe left, swipe right, it just proves that women's expectations of what a man is and what a man or who a man is completely out of whack. Because these women back about 11 years ago were having trouble finding a man. So guess what these women in today's terms are? What they're going through. Because they have this list. See, this list is making them lonely. That's what this list is doing. And they keep adding and adding and adding onto this list. To where you're not going to find that guy. And even if you did find that guy, how many other women want that man And plus on that, you may not even like that guy. This is why women have relationships so freaking backwards. They imagine a life that is going to be picture perfect inside their head before they get there. This is the reason why when you go on a date and you see like the date's not going anywhere, I would suggest all guys just say, you know what, I'm going to pay for the meal and you can have at it, and just leave. Don't sit there and try to make stuff work with females, because they already have it in their head that it's not going to work. There's no point to this. I've done that. I've actually got up out of a date because the chick I knew was not that interested. So I paid my meal, I paid her meal, and I left. I said, hey, you got the tip. And her mouth dropped. She's like, where are you going? I was like, I told her, obviously you're not into me because how you're acting. So, here's your meal. I'm done. I'm done. I do not have to sit here and suffer through your stuff, your bullshit. I don't. I'm not here to sit there and play patty cake with you. I'm here to date, get to know you, get to know who you are, see you face to face. I'm not gonna sit here and you just huffing and puffing, looking at your phone every single time that I'm trying to talk to you. If you're not interested, just cut it off. Because she's looking for Mr. Perfect. And keep in mind, there's no man that is perfect. No man. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what you drive. I don't care where you work at. You are not perfect. Just like they are not perfect. But the thing is, you don't have a fucking list of things that they cannot attain. You just heard it. One woman in this study said that I'm not going to date a man that wore a brown belt that didn't go along with his shoes or his outfit. What fucking sense does that make? If the man is socially inept in his style, right? The guy can't really coordinate. As Granddad used to say, coordinate all too well. Since maybe you have style, maybe you can help the guy. Because guess what? He has good character. He's a good man. He likes you for who you are, not for what this fake facade that you have. Oh no, that's not worth anything. Me liking you for who you are, not for what you pretend to be. Me being a good person. Nah, what matters is my fucking belt. This is why you have a lot of guys that are socially in tune with dressing and style and all this other stuff. They can finagle women into getting in bed with them because they are adhering to what females think is important, but it really isn't. Just because you can dress well does not mean that you are a good person. And I'm not saying this to say you guys shouldn't dress well. I'm not saying to say that you guys shouldn't go to a date and just look bummy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to understand what is important to them. And you have to realize that it has nothing to do with your character at all. It has nothing to do with your character. If you wear the right type of cologne, wear the right type of dress, pants, suit, shirt, everything matching, everything coordinated, you're in there. It has nothing to do with your personality whatsoever. You could be a complete dick on that fucking date, but as long as you smell good and look good, you're in there. This is one of the things that I think that Kevin Samuels did not want to teach every single guy, for the simple fact that there's a lot of guys out there that will use this for the wrong thing. Because he knows that women have this freaking stupid ass dumb motherfucking list that they always have, and they use it within their dating preferences. If his car does not have 20-inch rims on it, I won't date him. Well, they're 18-inch rims. Don't matter. If you don't have a certain type of car, she won't date you. If you're not the certain type of height, which we all seen that before, she won't date you. How many times have we heard or seen on dating profiles, if you're below 6 feet, don't talk to me? Don't matter about your personality. It's about how tall you are. You can't control that. But guess what? Things are going in reverse now. Guess what? If you are above 150 pounds, don't talk to me. Oh no, we can't do that. You're being fat phobic or whatever the hell they want to call it. Guess what? You're being height phobic. There's a lot of good men out here that's less than 6 feet tall. And guess what? They're good fucking men. They make good fucking money. But you willing to X those guys out for the simple fact that he's just an average height. The average height of a man in North America is 5'8" or 5'9". I think it's 5'9". But because that guy is 5'9", and you're like 5'2", 5'1", you want to X that guy out of your dating preferences. Get the complete effing out of here. Get out of here. And it's only gotten worse over the freaking years. These women actually want Mr. Perfect. I'm sorry, Kurt Henning's dead. Mr. Perfect is dead, man. So, unless you're thinking about resurrecting that motherfucker, you need to actually find Mr. Good enough. You know, he may not have everything that's on your list, but as long as he's a good person, he works hard, he loves you, and he's willing to put you in a position to where you can be somewhat happy. I'm not saying completely happy, because no one's going to be completely happy in a situation, but somewhat happy. He's like, you know what? I got a good life. You know, it may not be everything that I want it to be, but guess what? I'm happy. I got a man who loves me. I got my kids. You know what I'm saying? I may have to work, but you know, it ain't too bad. You know what I'm saying? We're building together. We're working together. You know, I'm not lonely at the end of the night with my wine and my little ass dog or cat. Don't matter. That's what it's all about. Having someone there that loves you, that's willing to take care of you when you are old, decrepit, and that person needs to wipe your ass. He's loving you enough to wipe your own ass when you can't do it because you have complications. It's the same thing that my father did for my mother before she passed. When she was sick for a whole fucking year, he took her to every freaking doctor that she could go to. He made sure that she was comfortable up until the time that she passed. She had someone who loved her enough to do the things that he needed to do. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that he did not want to do was to feel like her family felt that he didn't do enough. That's what he was worried about. He was worried about her family looking at him like, you didn't do enough to help my mother. Because he felt it was an obligation. That was his wife. That man had character. character. And you up here worrying about a freaking belt. Man, get the you know what? Let me stop this video before I start cussing. Cause this mess is stupid. Ladies, for the 0.5% that will listen to my damn podcast, stop it with that fucking list and start looking at the man for his character. If not, die alone. This is art, man. I'm out.